Welcome, Pirate Nation, to the Anchor Podcast with Dr. Brandon Hubbard, where we try to keep you anchored in Chilton ISD, informed and inspired about all things that are happening in this district. This week, we have a special guest for you, a 2001 Chilton alumnus, graduate of Chilton, standout athlete in Chilton ISD, the one and only Marcus Willis. Man, thank you for joining us on the Anchor Podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate you for having me. It's a blessing to be here.
Yes, sir. So many of you may not know, many of you know Marcus is a state championship basketball coach, but many of you may not know that he grew up and spent a lot of time in Chilton ISD. So tell us about some of the things that you did in Chilton ISD. Some of the things you can tell.
let me think about those. Now, to be where I am today is because of being here. Yeah. But I just I walked into something new. I hadn't been here in a long time. I'm like, oh my God, this is not the Chilton that I'm used to looking at. But, walking up and down these halls, sneaking up and down the halls, being in places that I'm not supposed to be. But most importantly, meeting great people. Yeah. Establishing culture with people here, and, them showing me culture allowed me to be able to instill culture into my program right now to this day.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. Now, you're a basketball coach now, but I remember in Chilton, you were a standout athlete, football player, even played some college football.
Yeah, a little bit.
So tell us a little bit about your experience on the football field and some of the things you accomplished.
Well, in Chilton, of course, you were forced to kind of play everything, do everything. So, football was one of the ones that kind of, was one of my favorites. I actually had a love for basketball as well too. Just knew in reality I didn't have the size to be able to go play at the collegiate level for basketball. So, tried the football thing out. Of course, messed up my knee and came back home to take care of a family. But the basketball world was always inside of me. And my kids kind of just, twinkled to it, and we made something out of nothing. And here we are, a two-time state champion. Yeah. So wow, that's still crazy to believe, but it's just sports has always been involved in my life. Sports is kind of gotten me going, and I think it helps the youth to this day. You got to find your wave, and I think sometimes to be able to tackle your academics, the sports attaches to it, makes that side a little bit easier. Yeah. So I found my wave, and was able to now to be able to give back.
Right. So. You mentioned about youth and sports being important to youth. Now, if I remember correctly, you did some coaching before you became a high school basketball coach. You did some maybe AAU outside coaching. How does that influence what you do today, and how does that influence how you interact with your student athletes?
Oh, it's everything. Yeah. So here's the deal. And I'm a firm believer. I think trying to coach or being able to coach on the high school or the UR level, even the collegiate level, I really think you should tiptoe into the grassroots area before you even get there. It again made me who I am today. Yeah. I did about 7 years of that, and we were very, very successful in that. And we took some of the same habits and some of the same things that we built inside the grassroots area and just established it and instilled it into the high school format. Oh, wow. And you were still successful. So, the summer and the high school has to be, together. Yeah. And I think once you find, a happy medium to it, you can find success in both areas. Yes. Yeah. And we found it. Yeah. We're proven examples of that now. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So, man, two-time state champion, Class 4A, back-to-back state champion. You got the jury on.
I got the jury on today.
That's a big ring, man. Yeah, if I could run, I may take off with it. But man, this is some nice hardware, man. So you found the winning combination. You found something that your players have bought into, your community has bought into. Tell me a little bit about your philosophy and how you approach this, and how you were able to accomplish something that a lot of people said wouldn't happen.
Well, wouldn't happen. Yeah. Family first. Once again, let's go back and talk about the grassroots from Chilton. Yeah. The grassroots from Sadden, the grassroots from Cedar Grove. Yeah. Let's talk about who and how I am and what I am today. Yeah. And I think some of the things that you've learned, in that pathway allowed you to just pull some of those values out of that and pour it into these youngsters that we have today. we established a culture.
Mhm.
We established visions. We created visions, and we bought into them every day.
Yeah.
Before we won the first one, we were, saying, hey, we're state champs. Every time we broke out, every day,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, state champs. And then we got to back, so we were already manifesting these things. We were already claiming those things. And, when God's in control,
Ultimately,
a lot of things can happen. And, so I think that's what it is. You establish your culture,
Mm-hmm.
and you get kids to buy into what you're selling. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that's hard, easier said than done. But with girls, I love girls because once you get them to trust you and buy into what you're selling, they'll go through a brick wall for you.
Yeah.
And so, we may not always agree.
Yeah.
We may not always got along. I know they got on my nerves and I got on theirs.
Right.
But every day, we were still family. Every day we circled up and, said we love each other, high fives, fist bumps, because at the end of the day, regardless of what was going on outside the court, when we got in between those four lines, nothing mattered but us.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's amazing. That's amazing. So starting out, as a student athlete, progressing, through AAU, becoming a state championship coach, what advice would you first give to student athletes who desire to compete at that highest level, or even beyond in the collegiate level? What would you say to them?
Definitely put in the work.
Yeah.
Grind. When you think you've done enough, do more.
Yeah.
Because there's always somebody out there that's working harder than you. Stay humble, stay healthy, and stay within yourself. Stay humble, for sure. I think the biggest thing that I can tell them is write your own story. Find your own wave, and once you find it, you be the best you can possibly be in that wave.
Right.
And let it all play out.
Right. Man, every coach is different. Every coach has his or her unique way of getting to the students, being inspirational, motivating the students. What makes you different, man? What's your one thing?
I think my added advantage is how to build a relationship, and how much the passion of what I do as well too. So the building relationships and the passion of how I feel of what I do, and I think that kind of separates me from most. I'm not saying that we don't have others that do that, but I think it's just one of my top priorities that I think that when I connect with my kids, I think that's the over the hump. I think that's the where she or he can do anything for me because that relationship we built. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I've been good at that for a long time. And that's just one of my favorites. A great motivator. I find a way how to motivate kids. Find a way how to motivate people. Right. And so I think those are bigger added advantages that I have. Needless to say, I don't say any. I know some other people have that too. But that would be some of the things I would say.
Okay. What makes a La Vega girls basketball player stand out from everybody else?
Oh man. A La Vega girls basketball makes them stand out.
They got to have extra gear going back to back, and facing some of that adversity that they face during they got to have a different gear. What's that?
They have a different strut on how they walk. You when they pop out, they pop out. There's some very easygoing kids, but they have some great and bright personalities. So I think their personalities allow them to be who they are, but it also creates one big personality as a La Vega girls basketball player. So when you see them walk the halls, when you see them pop out, you know exactly who they are. So I just think they're bright spots of their personalities, their own individuals, but also creates one whole.
That makes sense, man. So back-to-back state champion. People talk, things happen. How do you keep going? Sometimes some people find that success makes them, kind of lighten up.
Right.
How do you keep going, having the success that you've had as a championship coach? How do you keep going? How do you keep the kids grounding? How do you keep yourself grounding after doing what you've accomplished?
Actually, to be honest with you, what you were saying, people talking, I think the haters actually build more motivation and fire to do it again.
Yeah,
So, you block out. I just did an interview the other day about that. It's like, you know, when you reach a certain amount of success, you reach a certain amount of hatred. And whatever you do, you're gonna find hatred. It's not like you listen to it, but you're human. So it's there. Your job is to control the block out, but at the same token, it fuels the fire. So when you think that we're not gonna do it, we have something to prove you wrong. So I think that's an added fuel to the fire to make you want to go back. And then once you get there, bro, you want to go back. And then it's like, that's the expectation. Like I was telling you, when we broke out every day, it was back to back. I ride for you, you ride for me, we ride for each other. Back to back on 3. You know what I mean? So stay champs. And so now it's 3-peat on 3. You know what I mean? It was already talking about that when we were leaving San Antonio. How can we get back? So once you get there, it's like you want to feel that feeling every year. Every year. So with that feeling and with the motivation of those that say you can't do it, I think those are the 2 big top things that makes you want to keep the push.
So, man, as a coach, I know it's one thing, but tell me, what is it like coaching your daughter to that level and being successful with her as a key point on your team?
That has been the most enjoyable years that you could ever have, to be able to coach your own kid and to be able to watch her, with the struggle of an injury and be able to come back and to be able to perform at this level that she did. Most people don't know that she recovered really. She could have been cleared maybe 6.5 months, but he held on a little bit. So it's cleared at 7.5 months and went and played some high level AAU ball. So we traveled all over the world. She got her name back out there, and then she came back in her senior year and just blew up. Now she has multiple opportunities to play at the collegiate level, and she wrote her own story. You know what I mean? She created her own wave, and she wrote it. And she bet on herself. And so, so that I love her to death. That's my Mimi. She helps me be not just a great coach, but a great father as well too. So don't know what I'm going to do after that. After now, I was just we were just messaging because she actually received an all-state honor today. We just found out. So as I was getting the message of her getting an all-state honor, I was like, man, I'm going to miss you, kid. We're really done. We got some all-star games to do. I think I'm coaching an all-star game on Sunday. My schedule is so booked and crazy. And she's playing, I think. So I have a chance maybe to coach her then. And I think we're doing another all-star game next week. So we may have a couple more times to have that coach and player bond. But and in reality, it's over with. But grateful to God that she was allowed to be able to come back and do what she did and be able to really contribute a lot this year into us to make this run, and now she's blessed to go play at the next level.
Man, that's amazing.
It's amazing.
That's amazing.
It's a blessing.
She's written her own story, but also you've written your own story. You battled through some things and persevered through some things, and you've made it to being a state championship basketball coach. But not only that, an inspiration to many. So, man, kudos to you for battling everything that you battled and fighting through everything that you fought through to get to where you are. Because a lot of people would have said a young man from Satin that graduated from Chilton can't make it on that level.
Can't make it on that level.
But you continue to prove all the haters. You continue to prove them wrong. So kudos to you.
Thanks.
And the program that you continue to build at La Vega. So let's switch subjects a little bit of something a little bit more different, man. A lot of people may not know. I met Marcus about 20. I'll say it was No, it was 2001.
Yeah.
2001.
Right
I met Marcus in Satin, Texas, at the Cedar Grove Baptist Church.
Yep.
We met there, and actually, I don't know if he remembers this, but the first date that Linda, my wife, and I went on, we were supposed to double date with he and his wife.
My wife. Yes.
And so that's how we got connected. Marcus was actually a groomsman in my wedding. And so we go way back, man.
Yeah,
way back,
we
man.
do.
And so I'm excited to see somebody who I knew before I was a professional. I was still in college, and you were going to college, and it's just amazing to see how life happens and where people end up from there. What would you say to somebody who started out in Satin, graduated from a small, I think then 1A school, Chilton ISD? What would you say to somebody when all the world and haters and everybody else say you can't? What would you say to them?
Well, before I say that, I got to return the favor and say big ups to you as well too. Like you said, when we met, you were in college, I was heading to college, and just to see your success and what you've done, you know what I mean, is an amazing, bro. So
I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you for what all you do.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you for having me. You know what I mean? I'm loving this. I'm having fun with it, but I had to also give you your flowers as well too.
Oh, man.
So big
Appreciate
ups
it,
and how you're doing. So what would I say is never stop believing.
Yeah.
And never stop dreaming.
Yeah.
Turn your dreams into reality.
Yes, sir.
And write your own story.
Write your own story.
I'm done. That's it. That's all I would tell you. I would tell you. Now, at the end of the day, everybody wants to be a part of the outcome, but don't want to be a part of the process.
You're right. Yeah.
So it's a process that you're going to have to buy into yourself. If you want to be something, you have to be determined to be that person, and you got to be the best of that person.
Yeah.
Because it's 30 million people out there that want to be that person.
Yes.
So how are you going to separate yourself?
Right.
So you got to grind and you got to grind when people are not grinded.
Yes.
So write your own story and never stop dreaming, and make your dreams turn them into reality.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
There you have it, Pirate Nation. Directly from the 2-time back-to-back, soon-to-be 3-time state championship basketball coach at Vega High School, Chilton ISD alum, class of 2001, the one and only Coach Marcus Willis. Thank you, Pirate Nation, for joining the Anchor Podcast with Dr. Brandon Hubbard and our special guest, Marcus Willis. Like, subscribe to our page, share it. You need to hear what Coach Willis has to say. Until next time, Pirate Nation, keep refusing to sink. See you next time. Oh, wow.
So I'll get 2 more, of course, this year.
That's big time, man.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That's big time.
And you're able to you create your own. So if you look on the side, like it has our hashtags, what we did. So if you see the hashtag commit to each other. And I'm going to switch up when you want me to. And then you have your hashtag EEHH, which is energy, effort, heart, and hustle. I messed up on my triple H's too. I was talking about humble, hungry, and healthy. I was like, that's one of our hashtags too, is remaining humble, hungry, and healthy. I think I messed up in our podcast. And then, what's this one over here? Write our own story. So you got to write our own story. And then the last one on the other side is the 4 goals, which is what we preach. Is district champions, regional champions, state champions, but most important, free education. Yeah. So I didn't get to add that too. But, you got some raw footage now. We're 100% from 2023. We had 3 girls that graduated last year. All 3 girls had an opportunity to go play college ball.
Oh, wow.
So only 1 took advantage of that.
Yeah.
But all 3 had an advantage. And then, or had an opportunity, excuse me. And then number to this year, our 24s, we have 4.
Yeah.
All of them have an opportunity to play.
Oh, wow.
So we're 100% right now. So one's committed,
You
of
don't
course.
get better than that.
No, you don't get better than that. And that's what the goal is. You know, we can win state championships all we want to. I can care less about that, honestly. I care less about them getting free education.
Right.
So I care more about that, excuse me. So, for us to be 4 for 4 with our 24s, Mimi's still undecided, Sydney's undecided, Rod's undecided, but they all have multiple opportunities.
Man,
and then KP is going to Wichita State.
That's what's real.
So that's the good part of it. So maybe you can snag that in there. I don't know if you can throw that in there a little bit. But
that's what's real.
Yeah, so we were able to design it. So matter of fact, I'm meeting Wednesday. I meet with Harold. He meets with 2 people.
Oh yeah.
He goes and meets with the New York Yankees, and he meets with us.
Oh wow.
Everybody else, he sends everybody else. So,
oh man.
Yeah, this is a cool type of guy, man. It's a cool type of guy. So he'll come and meet with us on Wednesday, and we'll design another ring.
That's a blessing.
So
man.
no,
well,
thank you.
Keep designing them.
I got you. Yes.